Get ready to meet Barnaby the Bold Donkey, a little donkey with a big idea. He's convinced he knows a quicker way. But will Farmer McGregor's wisdom guide him, or will Barnaby learn a surprising lesson? High up on a sunny mountain path lived a little donkey named Barnaby. Barnaby was known for his playful spirit and sometimes his very silly ideas. Every morning, his kind owner, Farmer McGregor, led him down the winding road to their cozy farm below. Farmer McGregor was a patient man who loved his animals very much. They would watch the sun peek over the distant hills, making the dew on the leaves sparkle like tiny diamonds. One day, as they ambled along, Barnaby got a mischievous twinkle in his eye. He spotted his snug stall far, far below in the valley. It looked so inviting, with wisps of hay peeking from its open door. "Oh, how I wish I could be there already," he thought, wiggling his long ears. He loved his soft bed and the sweet carrots waiting for him. A very silly idea began to sprout in his little donkey head. Barnaby imagined a much quicker way to reach his warm bed and juicy carrots. "Why follow this twisty-turny road?" he mused to himself. He gazed at the nearest cliff edge, which dropped steeply down. "Aha!" he decided. "I'll just leap over here. It looks like a perfect shortcut straight home." He puffed out his chest, ready for his grand adventure. Farmer McGregor watched in surprise as Barnaby stopped dead in his tracks. He saw Barnaby's eyes fixed on the distant farm, then shift to the dangerous cliff. "Oh dear, what is that silly donkey thinking now?" Farmer McGregor wondered with a gasp. His heart gave a little thump-thump as he realized Barnaby's wild plan. He knew he had to act fast to keep his beloved donkey safe. Just as Barnaby was about to take that foolish leap, Farmer McGregor sprang into action. With a swift movement, he grabbed hold of Barnaby's fluffy tail. "Whoa there, Barnaby!" he called out, his voice firm but kind. Barnaby, however, was in no mood to be stopped. He tugged and pulled with all his might, convinced he knew the fastest way down. Barnaby let out a loud and stubborn hee-haw. He was quite annoyed that Farmer McGregor was holding him back. "Why can't he see this is the quickest way?" Barnaby thought grumpily. He pulled with every muscle, his small hooves digging into the dirt. He was so sure of himself, he simply refused to budge 1 inch from his dangerous position. Farmer McGregor tried to reason with his headstrong friend. "Barnaby, my dear donkey, that way is far too dangerous," he explained patiently. "The path is long, but it is safe and winding, perfectly made for your hooves." He pointed to the steady, proper road. But Barnaby just gave another impatient flick of his tail, clearly not listening to a word. No matter how much Farmer McGregor tried, Barnaby was just too stubborn. His silly idea had taken root, and he wouldn't let it go. He was convinced he knew a better way, a faster way, even if it looked scary to others. "I'm a clever donkey," he seemed to say with his posture. He closed his mind to his kind master's warnings, eager for his shortcut. Finally, Farmer McGregor let out a deep, defeated sigh. He knew that sometimes even the kindest words couldn't reach a truly stubborn heart. "Very well, Barnaby," he said, his voice soft but firm. "Go your way, you willful beast, and see where it leads you." With a heavy heart, he slowly let go of Barnaby's fluffy tail. He hoped Barnaby would realize his mistake quickly and safely. Barnaby felt a whoosh as Farmer McGregor's grip loosened. "Hooray!" he thought, feeling quite pleased with himself. "Freedom at last! Now for my brilliant shortcut." He took one eager step forward, his eyes bright with excitement. He was so proud of his clever plan, not noticing the sheer drop just beneath his hooves. The wind rustled past his long ears, but instead of a gentle slide, Barnaby felt a sudden loss of ground. With a surprised ouch, the silly donkey immediately tumbled. He flipped and flopped, going head over heels down the steep, rocky mountainside. His clever shortcut turned into a very bumpy ride indeed. Poor Barnaby bounced like a furry ball, quite unprepared for such a dizzying descent. Bump! Thump! Bounce! Barnaby rolled over a few smooth rocks, then landed with a soft thump on a patch of grass. Each bump made him yelp a little, adding to his surprise. His grand shortcut was turning into a rather uncomfortable adventure. He didn't feel quite so clever anymore, as the world spun around him. This wasn't at all what he had planned. Finally, with a last dramatic roll, Barnaby landed with a soft plop. He found himself tangled upside down in a big, prickly, but thankfully soft, green, thorny bush. Twigs were caught in his fluffy tail, and leaves were in his ears. He let out a little grunt, feeling dusty and a bit bruised. This was definitely not the cozy landing he had dreamed of. Above. Farmer McGregor had watched the whole comical tumble. His heart was in his throat, but he saw Barnaby land safely, if a little awkwardly. With a sigh of relief, he quickly started down the safer, winding path. He hurried to his little donkey, his boots crunching on the gravel. He knew Barnaby would be a bit shaken, but hopefully unharmed. Barnaby struggled free from the prickly bush, shaking off leaves and dust. He looked first at the long, winding road that Farmer McGregor always took. Then he glanced back at the steep, scary path he had chosen. Oh dear, he thought, his ears drooping sadly. Maybe Farmer McGregor was right all along. This quick way was not the best way at all. A moment later, Farmer McGregor reached Barnaby, his face filled with relief. He didn't scold or shout, just gave a warm smile. Gently, he helped Barnaby untangle himself from the thorny bush, petting his dusty head. "Are you all right, my little friend?" he asked softly. Barnaby nodded, feeling so much better with his farmer nearby. He knew he was truly cared for. Barnaby nudged his head gently against Farmer McGregor's leg, a silent apology. He promised himself and his kind farmer that he would listen much more carefully next time. No more silly shortcuts for him. Together they continued their journey down the proper winding road, the sun warm on their backs. Barnaby felt a newfound appreciation for the safe, if longer, path. And so, Barnaby the donkey learned a very important lesson that sunny afternoon. Sometimes, the longer, safer path is truly the wisest choice of all. It's always best to listen to those who care for you, especially when they offer good advice. They often know what's best, even if it doesn't seem like the quickest way.
Ever dreamed of being the hero? Now you get to be the star. Your adventure starts at TalesMio. Visit talesmio.com now.